Hey, gun people. This is an interesting case out of California. Of course, Governor Brown used to be governor, then got knocked out of being governor, um, and then was the mayor of Oakland, ran that town into bankruptcy, spending money, crime went up, and then they reelected him for governor. I think the guy's like 89 years old. But anyway, um, so let's take a look at what their bill is. It's kind of interesting. So he signs a bill, and it's going to be the first state to eliminate bail for some suspects awaiting trial, which is interesting. I think the bail, like anything government does, it gets abused. So I believe it's the Eighth Amendment. I went here. Yes, the Eighth Amendment um, says it restricts, like the Constitution mostly does, it restricts government from imposing excessive bail and excessive fines and cruel and unusual punishment. And there's been all kind of things on the excessive fines. I think under excessive fines, it should be this assets seizure. Is just crazy. There was one case on excessive fines where a guy failed to declare $10,000 when he brought into the country. So the government seized as a penalty $324,000 for failing to disclose $10,000. And the courts rules that was excessive. I think that might have been the only time they ruled it was excessive. But excessive bail has been abused for years. And the way the bail system works, and again, it's different for each state and they run it different, but basically there's a bail schedule, and a judge sits up there and goes, okay, assault and battery, suggested bail is $10,000. So you get arrested for assault and battery, you go to jail, and you have to post $10,000, or you have to sit in jail to your trial. Well, that means the state has to take care of you for relatively, routine offense, especially in this day and age, and now they have to keep you in jail for 6 months, a year. You can get you get a continuation. Your lawyer can drag this out for 2 years, and you're sitting in jail waiting for a charge that you may only get 6 months probation as your penalty. So when they have these $10,000 bail, a lot of times, if you can't post it and the jail gets full, the sheriff has the ability to release people even if they don't post bail. So if the jail has a bunch of high crime criminals, murders, rapes, something more serious than just a simple assault, the sheriff can say, you know what, jail's full, I got to release the lowest crime, so I'm going to release you, even though the judge said you had a $10,000 bail. Well, that's all fine and dandy. Again, it gives all the power to the government, and it gives them to know, you know what, if this guy has a job and he has a house, then we're going to keep him because we know he wants to get out. But if this guy's on welfare and he don't have a job and he's just running around causing problems anyway, he's got nothing to lose, we'll kick him out because he's just going to cause us problems anyway. Again, government, when you give government power, they're going to abuse it. So is this, new bill that Jerry Brown is trying to get good or bad? Well, it depends. According to this, they're saying facing violent felony charges will not be eligible for release, but nonviolent misdemeanors will. Well, the problem with that is the state starts reclassifying crimes, and it becomes a felony to steal a Snickers bar, and now you're not eligible for bail. So again, this violent felony charges, okay, great, you probably ought to keep them in there, but the whole point of the Eighth Amendment was to not give government the power to lock people up while they prepare their case, while they drag their feet, while they cause all this hardship for somebody. It's just, look, this has pros and cons, and I think the bail system is abused. Bail's bondsmen would hate it if we did away with bail. If the court, and to be honest, if you haven't done something violent, I don't think you ought to be kept in jail. I think all bail there ought to be no bail for nonviolent crimes. If you want to take me to court and the state wants to prosecute me, then they can arrest me, get my fingerprints, get my ID, and then I'm released. And then I have a court date. Then if I don't show up for court, then they put a warrant out. They do it all the time. There's probably 2 million warrants just in California that are sitting in a system waiting to be served. And they'll either catch the person or they won't. But it doesn't cost government and taxpayers money to keep a warrant in a system. It does cost them a lot of money to keep them in the jail, to get complaints, to get medical, to have false complaints against officers assaulting them. Maybe they trip and fall and hurt themselves. Now they get disability. Now they get Social Security. So, a lot of people are like, oh, it's crazy California. You know what? Sometimes, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. And I'm not so sure I disagree with this elimination of bail before trial. So, argue it out in the comments. Maybe I got some Bell's bondsmen that'll disagree, but we'll end that there.